Hey guys, this is Renae, and this is the Space Between podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. So we are all here because we love the music of the Dave Matthews Band, and so often I love to hear the fan stories. And so there are fans everywhere in every direction, right? And so these fans caught my eyes, the Dave Matthews Tribute Band. And so I had a wonderful opportunity to meet with these boys as they're traveling across the country touring. And so Andy has our tour schedule up for us. And so be sure to check this out. We'll put links at the end of this video for you to find the tribute band on all of their social media accounts, including their YouTube video, which is where we got the intro video to this podcast. And again, if you're listening to this on a podcast app, thank you so much. But also know that if you ever want to watch the podcast, we have a YouTube channel that has several of our podcasts on it. And so for episodes like this, where we get to meet with a group of people, or they have a story, or they play an instrument and they get to do that on the podcast, it's cool to see that. So definitely check out our YouTube video. And if you are already watching it, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, please, help us grow. I'm just a nurse that is honestly just chasing my dreams of telling the story of the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. And so I'm on the road looking for stories, and I'm so thankful for the fans that are making my dreams come true by just telling my story, my passion for this band, but more than that, a passion for the fans of this band. I cannot tell you how many countless people that I've had the opportunity to meet just by starting a podcast. It's amazing. It's so many amazing people. We're all doing it the same, right? But we all have a story of how we got here, how we found the Dave Matthews Band. And so, as I was saying, the Dave Matthews Tribute Band is a group of fans. Of course, they started this tribute band because they had a love for the Dave Matthews Band. So as they were going across the nation, they happened to stop in Springfield, Missouri, which was just about 2.5 hours from where I live here in Arkansas. So with that opportunity, I bought my tickets right away, and I said, yes, I'm actually going to finally get to see this band, because I feel like they do tour heavy on the East Coast and in bigger cities. And so I don't live really close to a large city. I think, Kansas City is about 3 hours away. So I was so thankful to see that they were traveling in my area. And I reached out to them and just said, hey guys, I would love the opportunity to tell your story as fans of the Dave Matthews Band. How did it turn into a tribute band? So I had a chance to meet with the boys as they were going through Springfield, Missouri, and I got to learn how it was that they came together 20 years ago. And they explained to me what their mission as this band was to kind of pay tribute to the sound that was the original Dave Matthews Band. And so, all of that was new to me. I knew about this tribute band, but I didn't know what their mission, what their drive was as fans, what kind of experience they wanted to give the people that came to see them. And so that's what they clarified for me, was that they really do want to pay tribute to the original sound of the band. And so with that, I want to introduce a couple of guys right before we go into the video of the interview in their RV. So we met with Gary Wilkinson, who's the singer. He will be your Dave, if you will. Then Tim Sheldon, who plays the bass. David Serini as in the drum, which guys, blew me away what he could do on the drums. And I did ask him about the drum kit and how similar it was to Carter's kit. So be sure to listen for that in the interview. Noah Mosca plays the sax. And again, he blew me away because he had been part of this tribute band for about 2 weeks. So it was interesting to see kind of how he learned so much in the 2 weeks. Was he familiar with the Dave Matthews Band music? And then Ryan Clifford on the violin. So again, enjoy this next clip. It was my pleasure to get to meet with these guys and to hear their story. So enjoy the video. Hey guys, this is Renae with the Space Between podcast. I am here with the Dave Matthews Tribute Band here in Springfield, Missouri. And so as you can see, we are in their RV, which I think they also call home while they're on the road. And so they are in the middle of a tour across the United States. And of course, one of those stops was Springfield, Missouri. And with us just being about 2.5 hours away, we couldn't not be here. So we're excited for the Space Between podcast to be here. And we're so excited that the band was okay with us coming in and asking a few questions. What I love about this band is my guest, and I'm going to ask them, but my guess is that they're all fans of the Dave Matthews Band. So what we're going to try to talk about in this podcast is how did it evolve from fanship to a tribute band? And so those are the questions we're going to ask today. We have had so many fan questions that have been entered, and so I am going to try to read some of those and get some answers from the guys who know the answers, the Dave Matthews Tribute Band. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. I've got a couple of the guys. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, maybe say where they're from and how long you've been part of the tribute band.
All right. Well, hey everyone. My name's Noah. I've been playing with this group for about a few weeks. Really relatively new here. I'm from Orlando, Florida, and as far as Dave Matthews goes, I haven't listened to any Dave Matthews before joining this group. But you know, in it canceled. No, yeah. In terms of just enjoying the music and learning everything, it's been really nice as we've been on the road and just getting used to playing these songs in front of crowds. It's been a really nice way to like learn and like dive into the catalog. But as far as Dave Matthews music and fandom, I'll let these guys take over. I think they've been at it for a bit longer than me. But
Hey y'all, I'm Gary. I've been with the band since the end of 2020. I'm from Rhode Island, and I'm the fake Dave of the band. So.
How long have you been a fan?
I've been a fan since 1994, maybe since I was like 8 years old, maybe. So a long time. Well, I'm just dating myself.
What's up, everybody? My name is David. I'm the drummer in the band. I'm from Buffalo, New York, and I've been a fan probably since about 2006 or 7. I saw my first show in 2009, so about 6 or 7 is when I got into them.
Hi, I'm Tim. I play bass, and I guess I bought my first Dave Matthews album when I was probably 17 years old in 1997 or so.
Okay, so my first question is tell me a little bit about your history. So you said you're not super familiar with the Dave Matthews Band and their music. So what's your education? How did you learn to play the sax? Have you been playing it for a while? And then what kind of was, why did you want to become part of this band? Tell me the story of how you got here.
well, I've been playing saxophone since I was 12, so about 12 years now. And as far as just playing music in a Dave Matthews Band, tribute band, I saw a post on Facebook actually, and I've just been looking to play music out in front of people, and there's groups, sending posts to collect local musicians, and they had a show where I'm from, and one thing led to another, and it led to me joining this group, and I'm super grateful and glad to be a part of it because it's given me a lot of experience, but also great music at the end of the day. So yeah.
Has it been a challenge for you to learn the music?
Yes and no. Parts of it are tied into how I learn music. So I went to school. I wanted to learn just classical fundamentals and find a job as a working musician, but it's not like a mapped out road that you can do. So as far as fundamentals go, it hasn't been too difficult, but as far as being on stage and playing a genre that I'm not normally used to, it was a bit of it took a little bit of time to get used to, but now that we're doing this so often, it's almost second nature. Yeah.
So next question is for you. How long have you been playing the guitar? How long have you been singing? And what is it exactly or when was it that you thought, hey, I do sound a little like Dave? Or was it someone told you that? Tell me how that was discovered and what kind of led you to getting into a tribute band, knowing that you did have that sound.
So I was into Dave Matthews when I was a little kid. So that was like why I wanted to play guitar, was to like be like Dave Matthews, you know what I mean? So that's why I wanted to get a guitar. So the first song I ever learned was like Typical Situation, the first couple notes, you know. And then, you know, I've played in bands here and there throughout high school and stuff. I never did any Dave, really, until I think like the end of high school. I tried out for like a talent show, singing bartender, and they were like, "Dude, that was kind of like that was like kind of like Dave." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool, that's cool." And I just kind of sat on it for a long time. I would just play in my room by myself, and then it's around 2018 I started playing locally with some people, Dave Matthews Music, and then these guys found me a couple years later, and then that was it. Yeah.
Was there a Dave before you?
It was.
There was.
There was. The founder of the band.
Wow.
Sitting right over here. So, yeah. So, he discovered me. So.
Okay, so the next question is for you, the drums. And I want to specifically say, like, when we were watching the sound check, like, I checked out your drum kit, and I don't know a lot about drums, but I do have friends like Adam who are totally into drums, and so they spend a lot. Adam Parker, shout out to you. They talk so much about the drum kit and, like, how they have to change it to kind of mirror what Carter is doing. So is that something that you've always been into, is like expanding your drum kit, and then like how do you keep it relevant now? Is that something that you follow as like Carter, what is he doing, or do you change it up in your own style?
Yeah, so for the drums, when I got into Dave, I was like mid-teenage years, and I knew how to play just from like high school or elementary school jazz band, middle school and stuff, and then I saw that he had, in the drum world, like, we call, like, one of the parts is the ride cymbal was on the wrong side in quotes, and I was like, man, like, that's weird, and I got into watching, like, the Under the Table and Drumming video, and I was like, oh, I get why he does that over here, because all kinds of technical stuff, and then I just set it up on that side, and I remember I didn't have the right type of gear to do that, so my dad had to, like, help me, like, tape something up in our basement to, like, do it. And I just sat there and practiced like 8 hours a day all summer to learn. You're essentially like flipping your lead side. So I started doing that and just decided that that was really fun to play like that. And then I just slowly began acquiring his stuff. And Adam helped me so much. Like I would, all day long, I'd message him on Facebook and be like, hey man, what does he use like up here, like back on this side or whatever? And he would send me like the exact thing. And like, I just slowly started building it up. And then it's like right now, it's exactly what he has right now, more or less. There's a couple like small liberties I take, but mostly it's pretty much exactly what he has, just like Adam. But for a while, I had what he would use in like, I call like the late 90s. So this is like different, a little bit different. And then just recently I switched. And it's honestly like I don't keep up with like the day to day. Like if he changes a symbol, Adam's like, dude, I changed it like yesterday, you know. And I don't like, I have what I just use for what I think works best for us. But yeah, building up that thing was kind of cool because it's not, I don't think it's outlandish to say that that's just like a huge part of Dave. Like seeing that big drum set behind Dave and like the cymbals are all high and it's just like part of the show. So I think that was kind of the thing, like, with the tribute band, it was like, man, like, it's just cool to have that scene, and that little extra bit of the image to, like, maybe sell it that much more. So that's kind of why I did it, and I started playing with Ryan, like, 5-6 years ago, and, like, I had an excuse to, like, finally use it. So I was like, why do I have all this stuff? Like, I'm never gonna, like, play this ever, you know, because a normal, like, rock and roll gig, like, if you show up with that, people go, like, what are you doing? Like, it's annoying. Why do you have so much drums? It's going to take forever to set up and take down. But in this band, it's expected. Like, all these guys help me set up because they get it. They're like, hey, that's, like, part of the show. So it worked out great. Yeah.
Okay, last but not least, tell us about the bass. How long have you been playing? And, you know, I love the bass in the Dave Matthews Band because there are certain songs that it just spotlights the bass, right? And so I'm sure that you guys do a bit of that too. So tell me about your history playing the bass, and then like what is your favorite Dave Matthews Band song to play that kind of highlights your talent?
Yeah. Favorite Dave Matthews Band song that highlights the bass? Probably either Dreaming Tree maybe or Crush.
Oh, we got it.
Yeah, those are the two. as far as my journey musically, I'm a little older. I started playing bass 30 some years ago. Went to college for that in the 90s. Just play any musical situation that I could for all those years. And I met David a few years ago when he was working with Ryan, when Ryan was running the band, and started playing this music at that point. I was familiar, but in a different way than a lot of these guys in that, like, I was around and a teenager when Dave Matthews came out. When Under Table Dreaming was released, like, it was the relevant new thing. So I was aware of it more on that level, not as, like, you know, I didn't necessarily idolize them. They were just, like, kind of part of growing up. Like, it was just what was on, you know what I mean? So I was familiar with at least the first 3 albums just by virtue of that stuff came out while I was in high school and college and was very, very prominent then. So I was more familiar with the music just than I was playing it. And then, you know, when I started playing with these guys in 2018, I think, at that point I learned most of the tunes, that at least the ones we do. So that's my story.
Okay, so we have a few fan questions. I ask the listeners of this podcast to send some questions in that they wanted to ask the band. And so we're going to kind of segue into some fan questions. Okay. Whoever wants to answer this, there's no certain person, so you can just say I'll take this or whatever. Question number 1 is from Andy Mendoza, and I'm making him first because he is the editor of this podcast. If you guys did not know that, he, of course, loves the Dave Matthews Band in Austin, Texas. So he wants to know, how were you first introduced to the Dave Matthews Band? And I think you've all kind of said that, but, like, what drove y'all to becoming a tribute band? Like, who kind of sparked the idea? It's probably going to be Ryan, right? And how do you continue to find your band members? So you kind of talked that you are a rotating band at times. I'm sure that there are life events that happen that keep you from being on the road. So in that instance, what do you have subs that can come in for you guys?
I guess I can answer this one. So I can say, like, for the current, like, the modern day version of this band, like, what drives us to, like, do Dave, I will say, is, like, we obviously, like, we have a fiddle player, and one of the coolest things that happens is, like, at our shows, people, like, every show, I would say, people will come up and be like, dude, it's, like, so awesome that you had, like, a violin and you played, like, Ants Marching and Lion Our Graves and there was violin and it, like, took me back to, like, my teenage years, like, whatever. And that's, like, really cool. Like, I think there's, like, something to be said for just, like nothing against the current band, but just that sound that everyone, like, loved. It's just cool to, like, keep bringing that to people. Like, none of us in this band are, like, think like we're anything special. It's more so just, like, to have a great time with people. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's, and it's like, yes, like, go see Dave. Like, we all go see Dave. Oh, yeah. But, like, having that, like, just bringing that sound, like, late 90s, early 2000s, like, we have a great keyboard player who sits in with us, who does the Butch Taylor stuff, like, just to do that, I think is personally what drives me, like, to just do this and, like, be away from home so much and all that. It's, like, it's crazy. So, and then in terms of, like, the rotating band members, so you're right, like, life does come up. Like, there's a lot of things, like, people have kids, like, people have, like, our well, I'll call him, like, our main saxophone player, like, his son is going off to college right now, and he's like, hey, I have to take my son to college. And we have guys, like, great guys like Noah and a couple other people. Chris, who just left us, he just toured with us out in Denver, and he flew home out of Salt Lake City. And guys who have been around this type of music forever, or like you, who can read the charts and can learn it, and they want to play. And it's basically like we just bring these people in to cover, for lack of a better term, but it's really not covering. It's more so just, like, a different flavor. Like, you're gonna get a different solo from Noah than you are gonna get from Chris, who just played with us. And it's, you know what I mean? Like, I think that kind of actually diversifies a little bit and can be fun. But really, the only position that doesn't have a sub is Gary, because he's the guy. No one else sounds like Gary. Like, that's his bedroom right there behind Tim. Like, that's his bunk. Like, it's too much fun. But like we said, like Adam Parker, like, he's played with the band back in the day. We have other, like, great drummers that play with the band too, and it's just an as needed basis. You know, like, Tim kind of just joined up full time, and he's playing mostly everything. But then, we also have great guys on bass that can play, and that's kind of how we go about it. We just have like a network of musicians that Ryan's known many of them for like 15, 20 years. I've got good contacts too that we all can, hey, do you want to play? We got a run of shows in August. We got 10 shows over, 2 weeks. Do you want to come play? And we just kind of go from there. So that's how it works.
Okay, this is from Lynn Zimmerman in Florida. She wants to know, what is y'all's favorite song to play? It can be personal.
I only know about 20 of them, but yeah, 25, give or take. Yeah. I'd say, I know Tim already mentioned it because of the bass, but Crush just has a really, really nice feel to it. It's got great horn lines. It's opened up for solos, and Crush is really fun. Trying to give you one more maybe. Trippin' Billy's is pretty cool. We usually play it at the end. It's a great closer. Yeah, great lyrics. Yeah. Pass it to you, Gary.
Favorite song to play? Probably Lie in Our Graves, for sure. Lie in Our Graves. Yeah. Whenever I skip a song, I skip to Lie in Our Graves. No, it was still... yeah. I always skip over and get to Lie in Our Graves, but yeah, it's just fun to play.
Also Lie in Our Graves. It's just so much fun to play on drums. It's just like, by far, to me, the most fun to play on drums.
Anything but Lie in Our Graves.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So you guys are doing quite a few shows. I looked at your tour schedule. It looks like you're West Coast, East Coast, and now you're in whatever Missouri is. What is Missouri? Like the mid-south? Like what, Midwest? I don't even know what it is, but... what did you say? Southern Midwest. So I'll say that to say you've been to a lot of places. You've performed for different kinds of people all over the United States. Is there a show that really sticks out to you? And if so, why?
Yeah. We in February we had the opportunity to travel to St. Bart's to play a private party for a really nice guy who. The food is here. Well, allow us to bring our food right in. Oh, hell yeah. Very casual. Thank you. We got 4 pizzas. But yeah, we played in St. Bart's, and if you don't mind me plugging that in, like we do private parties all the time. Birthday parties, weddings, like anniversaries. And this guy said, hey, can you come to my villa in St. Bart's? And we'll fly you into St. Martin, and then you could take a boat over, and we're like, sure, like we'll be there. Like, so that was awesome. And that was, I mean, dude, there was like 20 people. It was like, but that was so much fun because it was like and then also for me, like when we just played Fox Theater like 3 days ago or last week, where they recorded the What Would You Say music video, like it was so cool to be there. So just
playing that there.
Yeah, for sure. So
Okay. This question is from Tiffany King, and we'll just do a couple more because I want you guys to eat. So Tiffany is from Fayetteville, Arkansas. What is the most difficult song for you to play out of the Dave Matthews Band world? So we know that their catalog is huge, and I don't even know to what reaches you have as far as their catalog goes. But in the songs that you guys perform, what would be the most difficult for you on your instrument?
Look at Dave's song. I'm gonna have to think about Start the other way. Yeah.
I can play them all. Not very challenging on bass.
Man, there's so many hard Carter ones. But
that's more.
Fool to Think is like extremely difficult. Fool to Think is definitely the hardest song I think to play for me.
Is there a song that's hard with your vocal range, like to match Dave? Or
So my favorite Dave song ever is Bartender, but I hate playing it because it's hard, and I feel like I can never do it justice. So I would say Bartender is probably the hardest one to like sing, and then the hardest to play is like Captain maybe, or Sugar Will, because they just hurt. Like you can play them, they just hurts after a little while. And I think yeah.
I would say like none of them are like majorly difficult. JTR has some weird time stuff in there for saxophone, or for everyone really, but I guess not necessarily it being difficult, but just trying to learn Leroy's style. I'm trying to really match kind of the feel of like early, like the original saxophonist and the original Dave Matthews Band. But as far as like the music I'm asked to play, it's thankfully not too bad. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. Come on.
So is there a dream location where you guys would like to play? So I believe that if you put it out into the universe, things happen. Red Rocks. Okay, I mean, I can see where the draw would be for that. So we're just going to put that in the universe. If anybody watches this and they have, connections, let it head. They want to play at Red Rocks. Okay, so last question, and this is from Star Wilson in Illinois. She said, and this is a fun question because you're out on the road, you're living in an RV, which is obviously way different than living in a home. What are the most important must-haves on the road for you? Like, what can you just if I'm going to be on the RV, I got to have this. What is that for you?
Dramamine. I get motion sickness pretty easily, but as you're on the road longer, you're just like, all right, you get acclimated, so it's not too bad. Water, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. I guess so.
Well, honestly, I need my HD movie drive and like a bunch of weed.
Shit. Like a necessity on the road. Like anything. Like weirdly, like I couldn't, because I also work remote, so like my laptop is essential. Like I use it for running my in-ear mix and also to work remote. Yeah, pretty much that. And like tons of clothes. Like, yeah, clothes.
Toothbrush and snack-sized cheese.
All right, guys, so we are just moments away from these guys taking stage here in Springfield, Missouri. So we're going to let them eat some dinner. Guys, be sure to, if you're listening to this through a podcast, be sure to check it out on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you just want to hear it, be sure to check out our podcast where we have over 50 episodes and almost 10,000 downloads. So thank you guys for helping me keep my dreams alive. My dream is to just tell the story of the Dave Matthews Band fans and the Dave Matthews Tribute Band fans. So we'll see you guys on the road next week. We're at the Gorge, so continue to follow us and we'll see you. Peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band. Guys, I cannot explain to you what a joy it was for me and my friend Mary to get a chance to see the Dave Matthews Tribute Band just so close to home. It's not often that we actually get to see the Dave Matthews Band live, or it's not as often as what we would like, which honestly, I could take it every day. So when a tribute band can give you that sense of being in the place that you love, it does again put you in a place of like love and happiness and all of the things. And so I'm just so thankful that I got to see the tribute band. Be sure to check out their tour schedule to see if they are coming to a city near you, because honestly, if they're coming to Springfield, Missouri, they may be coming near you. So definitely check out their tour schedule. And I invite you to follow them on Instagram, Facebook, all of the social accounts, because they post a lot. And so you definitely want to check out this tribute band. What a cool group of Dave Matthews Band fans who again want to pay tribute to the original sound of the band. Again, thank you so much to the Dave Matthews Tribute Band for allowing me and Mary to hop on your RV and see what it looks like to live on the road. It's definitely something that is a lot harder than we think it would be to be confined. And I had those questions that I asked for the guys, like, what are your necessities on the road? And so I have such admiration for these guys to just continue to spread the love of the Dave Matthews Band. And so again, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. If you, again, are listening to this in a podcast, be sure to check out our YouTube channel where you can see all of this and with your own eyes. And so again, just be sure to subscribe, like, comment, give us all of the love, because we are actually tracking how many people listen to this, how many downloads we receive, how many everything, because of course that proves that we continue to keep going and continue to keep just being successful at this. I am blown away by the amount of people that have supported me and loved me through this. And I can't tell you, like, honestly, I'm not surprised because of the generosity of the people that I love so much. But honestly, I'm just so thankful and so grateful, and I want you to know that you are just making this mom of 4 and wife and nurse. You're making my dreams come true, and I just want to thank you so much for supporting me. So again, we'll continue to tell the story of the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Thank you for watching this episode. Peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band.
Always wondering why the